Let us for a few moments meditate on the Divine Master and pray for the welfare of the whole humanity. Shanti Shanti Hari Om Tat Sat. Om Stavakaya Cha Dharmasya Sarvadharma Swarupine Avatar Varishtaya Ramakrishna Te Namah. Asato ma sadgamaya tamaso ma jyotirgamaya mrityorma mritangamaya. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Let us offer our salutations to Sri Ramakrishna, the embodiment of all religions, the Supreme God Incarnate. Let us pray earnestly to lead us from unreal to the real, to lead us from the darkness of ignorance to the light of knowledge, to lead us from death to immortality. It's only when the ignorance is removed, when we experience the supreme bliss emanating from our own true self, we really establish ourselves forever in most wonderful peace. The real meaning of peace is understood only in Samadhi. The supreme bliss is possible only on the foundation of tranquil mind. It means we will have to struggle. How far it depends upon individual case. It depends upon what amount of impressions we have in our mind to be got rid of. But it's very important that you must become aware of your position. There is no point in simply hiding. You must be frank enough to admit your state of weakness, and you must be determined to fight all those weaknesses, causing unbearable suffering. So, if you entertain spiritual idea in your mind, you will become truly strong. You must become strong. Otherwise, how can you fight? That too, you have to fight with the hidden impressions, tendencies, which had been deep-rooted, very difficult to be removed. But there is no other way. You have to take all methods and you have to be practical in your doing the things. You can't afford to waste any more time in unnecessary debate and fun in the world. Life goes away, leaving behind impressions. When we leave the body, we carry the mind along with us. The mind carries all the impressions that you had gathered in the life. They come with you. So you have to unburden unwanted things rooted in the mind. So Sri Ramakrishna repeatedly says to dwell upon spiritual ideas constantly, develop faith and devotion to God, spend some time every day without fail for devotional practices. You will get the results. If you are looking after the results, you may not see them. If you don't look after them, they will come to you. That is why the Supreme Paramatma, God, the all-pervading, omnipresent, He takes form. He comes to our level. He descends to our level. He behaves like us, only to lead us beyond the realm of ignorance, only to give us immense peace and joy. They come. The Supreme Paramatman comes. You are not able to comprehend, appreciate or understand the all-pervading, omnipresent God. It is too abstract to understand anything. So to make us understand, to make us feel there is that supreme Shakti governing the whole universe, it comes in human form. So, the concept of incarnation is very important and essential for us to understand. It's only through incarnations you can have some glimpse of God. Otherwise, it's only a talk. How to know the nature of God? Of course, it is impossible to know the infinite nature of God, but then at least little bit glimpse of it we must have. Even that glimpse is enough for us to make our life completely fulfilled. So Sri Ramakrishna said that there is a greater manifestation of God in man than in other created beings. It is true, God is everywhere. But greater manifestation is found in human beings. Among the human beings, God manifests Himself in a still greater degree in pure-souled devotees. So He said, He felt great longing for youngsters like Narendra, Rakal and other children who would come to Sri Ramakrishna. He would be in ecstasy when he saw these youngsters, pure-souled, in whom Sri Ramakrishna could see clearly the reflection of God. These young children whose mind is not stained by the worldliness, whose mind is not stuck up in the worldliness. That means who have not been dragged into the net of Maya. So, he would feel ecstatic joy when such young children come near him. Sri Ramakrishna gave an example. You can often see small holes along the edge of a lake. What do you see there? Fish, crab, in large numbers, they gather there. Just so, there is a greater accumulation of divinity in man. It is said that man is greater than Salagrama. Salagrama is the symbol, image, stone, which the Hindus worship as the symbol of Lord Vishnu. Here man means Nara. Nara means he may be either man or woman. It is not that God manifests only through human, means only through men, not women. No, it's not like that. Man is Narayana himself, Nara Narayan. If God can manifest himself through an image, then why not through man also? In fact, it becomes easy for us to follow the spiritual ideas through seeing men like us showing the way. It's easy to understand the glory of God through such people than simply imagining. That's why you find, if you live a day or two with holy people, you feel a kind of inner peace. You would like to be more and more in such company, because you find God's glory manifests in holy people more. To the extent you maintain your purity of heart, to that extent God manifests in you. So God is born for the purpose of sporting as man. The whole creation is nothing but a sport. Leela Kshetra, as all our scriptures put it, even holy people all have said, what is this creation? What is this births and deaths going on? Fight between good and evil going on. Game. Game means you can't have all people to win. Some people should be defeated, some people should win the game. That's why it's called game. So, Rama, Krishna, Christ, they're all examples. So by meditating on incarnation of God, you are meditating on God Himself. Because you have not seen God, how God exactly would be. But you can see a person in front of you who is manifesting the qualities of divine and who is more than God to you. Then it's easy to practice your life in the holy company of such people. These are the words of Sri Ramakrishna. How could you understand his ways if the Divine Lord didn't manifest himself as man among his devotees? So, why should he be born? Why? Only because to redeem the embodied beings. At least those who are struggling to get out of this net of Maya. God comes to lend His helping hand. And even when He gives up the gross body, that is referring to incarnation, His power continues through His devotees. The Lord Himself is born as His devotee. Although He is omnipresent and infinite, He comes to us in a finite form for our good. What are these incarnations? Christ, Krishna, Rama, Buddha. They are perfectly clear mirrors which gave us a perfect reflection. They didn't bring us anything new. Truth is always existent. Each one was a reflector of eternal truth. But one man catches the light from Christ, so he says, Christ has given me the truth. I belong to Christ. I am a Christian. Another man sees the light through Muhammad and says, I am a Mohammedan. Third one says, Buddha is truth. I belong to Buddha. So, each great teacher has his followers who believe that the truth can come from him alone. But all teachers reflect the same truth. That's an important point you must note. Then there will be no quarrel, there will be no disharmony amongst you. This is the most fantastic message given by Sri Ramakrishna. He harmonized all the religions, all incarnations. He threaded them all, made them a big garland of religions. He wore that garland on his neck. Sri Ramakrishna represents all religions. I am not telling in a fanatical way or dogmatic way. You can study his life and teachings with open-mindedness. You will yourself recognize this wonderful truth. How Sri Ramakrishna, in order to harmonize all these religions, himself practiced, got revelations through all these paths, and then only he declared all paths are true. All paths are true. All teachers reflect the same truth, maybe in a different language. A Hindu may interpret the truth in a Sanskrit language, an Englishman in English, American in American. China in Chinese. Languages may be different, but truth cannot be different. Truth is same. Once a devotee asked a question to Swami Ramakrishna Math, one of the great disciples of Sri Ramakrishna. Sir, God being infinite, why and how does He incarnate? The Swami says that man who has forgotten his infinite nature is finite. If it is thus possible for man to be finite and infinite at the same time, how much more must it be possible for God to be so? An incarnation of God too has body and mind like us. You can touch them, you can talk to them, you can be with them, enjoy with them, share everything with them, eat with them, have all relationships as you have with your fellow beings. But what is the speciality? The incarnation has the power to separate himself from body and mind easily, whereas it is too difficult for us. For example, sleep. It overpowers a man, but never an incarnation who has masterly control over his body when awake, over his mind when dreaming. He doesn't lose control over his mind, over his consciousness when asleep. In all these three states, he is fully aware of his true nature. So a divine incarnation is a complete master of all his being in waking, dream and sleep. From the highest being down to the blade of grass, all living organisms are a peculiar mixture of the finite and infinite. An incarnation also is no exception to the rule. But he only appears finite through all the time, though he is all the time infinite. Though he seems to be finite in power, he is actually omnipotent. But few can recognize the perfect and divine nature of an incarnation. So all treat him as an ordinary being. But even though they treat such a person as ordinary, they find a tremendous special power of attraction in him. If you study the life of Sri Ramakrishna, you will find when he was in Kamarpukur, all the people of the village had become his friends. Everybody loved him. Everybody was eager to share joy with him. They wouldn't go away from his company. They loved to be with him all the time. Everybody wanted him to his home. Tremendous attraction. What's it due to? It is because of the divinity. So the attraction is the divine attraction, not the polluted attraction which we see in the world. The incarnations express the ideas of worldly people by imposing their limitations upon themselves. So incarnation of God is a complete and perfect ideal. You may ask, where are the people? Simply they talk about God. Where are the people who have lived the life of God or who have realized God? Where are they? You may ask the question. Here are they. Incarnations. They are the model to us. Just have faith in them, follow their teachings, then ask questions if you have. Without practicing the teachings, If you simply talk, you'll have to keep on talking unto your death. So the incarnation of God is a complete and perfect ideal. As much of it as you can comprehend is yours. It is just like this sugar hill. Ant goes there. How much it can take? 2 grains? 3 grains? Alright. As much as. But the sugar hill is huge. In the same way, incarnation. Tremendous power, spiritual power. What you want, how much you can take, take. Have it. And they are ready to give. An incarnation of God has his own time and place. When he comes, nobody knows. He comes when he finds the time is for him to come. He comes when many people, stricken with misery, piteously call on him day and night and pray with a simple heart. Prayer must be sincere. Not simply praying in a political platform. Everybody prays. This moment they pray, next moment they behave in a very different way. Sincere prayer always has got effect. O Lord, never shall I do such things again. This shows even how to pray. Bring my miseries to an end. I make an offering of all my karma to you. Appear before me. Like that you must pray. Pray honestly. Or when at the time of decay of religion, the people who are in that field begin praying to God, O Lord, come down on earth and re-establish the reign of law. Everywhere there is chaos, no respect for human life. Please come. Then, if the time is ripe, God incarnates as a man. Don't think his life is so smooth. Oh, incarnation, he is a God. No, he suffers more than what we suffer. Why? He suffers the karma, the results of good and bad actions of man. He suffers for our sake. If you call God, God will come to you to take your suffering, to give you peace. Then he has to burn out that suffering. But then he has no karma of his own. Why then does he suffer so much from birth to death? Take any incarnation. How much hardship, how much struggle they have to pass through. So what does it show? You must develop that sacrificing nature. Those who desire to love an incarnation of God must also be ready to suffer like them. Suffer for the sake of humanity. That's the point. Whenever God incarnates himself in human form, he reveals himself as such as men would not understand him otherwise. Anyway, we will be able to walk through spiritual life steadily if we are cautious and conscious of what we are doing. Not pointing out finger on anybody for anything that might happen. With that attitude, carry on the life courageously, boldly, not hiding, not cheating. Have a hero's death. If you have to die, die like a hero. Don't die like a fox. Then you will understand what exactly spirituality means. I shall read, because I am dealing with some points of the chapter 20, which has been concluded in the last class. Chapter 21, it was about 8 o'clock in the morning, when M arrived at the temple garden and found Sri Ramakrishna seated on the small couch in his room. A few devotees were sitting on the floor. The master was talking to them. Ramakrishna Mukherjee was there. Ramakrishna belonged to an aristocratic family and lived in the northern part of Calcutta. He held a high post in an English business firm. He was very much devoted to Sri Ramakrishna, and though a householder, derived great pleasure from the study of Vedanta philosophy. He was a frequent visitor at the temple garden. Once he invited the master to his house in Calcutta and held a religious festival. Every day, early in the morning, he bathed in the holy water of the Ganges. Whenever it was convenient, he would come to the Dakshineshwar in a hired country boat. That morning, he had hired a boat and invited M to accompany him to the Dakshineshwar. The boat had hardly left shore when the river became choppy. M had become frightened and begged Ramakrishna to put him back on land. In spite of assurances, M had kept saying, "You must put me ashore. I shall walk to Dakshineshwar." And so M came on foot and found Sri Ramakrishna talking to Ramakrishna and the others. Master said to Ramakrishna, "But there is a greater manifestation of God in man." The same idea which I dealt with now. Sri Ramakrishna said, "You may ask, how is it possible for God to be incarnated as a man who suffers from hunger, thirst, and the other traits of an embodied being, and perhaps also from disease and grief?" The reply is, even Brahman weeps, entrapped in the snare of the 5 elements. Don't you know how Rama had to weep, stricken with grief for Sita? Further, it is said that the Lord incarnated himself as a soul in order to kill the demon Hiranyaksha. Hiranyaksha was eventually killed, but God would not go back to his abode in heaven. He enjoyed his soul's life. That is pig. He had given birth to several young ones and was rather happy with them. The gods said among themselves, "What does this mean? The Lord doesn't care to return to heaven." They all went to Shiva and laid the matter before him. Shiva came down and urged the Lord to leave the soul body and return to heaven. But the soul only suckled her young ones. Laughter. Then Shiva destroyed the soul body with his trident, and the Lord came out laughing aloud and went back to his own abode. Ramakrishna said to the master, "Sir, what is the anahata sound?" Master said, "It is a spontaneous sound constantly going on by itself. It is the sound of the pranava, Om. It originates in the Supreme Brahman and is heard by yogis. People immersed in worldliness do not hear it. A yogi alone knows that this sound originates both from his navel and from the Supreme Brahman resting on the ocean of milk." According to Hindu mythology, after the dissolution of the universe and before the next creation, The Supreme Lord rests on the ocean of the great chaos, also called the ocean of milk, Ksheerasagar. Master said, Keshav Sen also asked that question. As long as a man remains ignorant, that is to say, as long as he has not realized God, so long will he be born. But after attaining knowledge, he will not have to come back to this earth or to any other plane of existence. The potter puts his pots in the sun to dry. Haven't you noticed that some among them there are both baked and unbaked ones? When a cow happens to walk over them, some of the parts get broken to pieces. The broken parts that are already baked, the potter throws away, since they are of no more use to him. But the soft ones, though broken, he gathers up. He makes them into a lump, and out of this forms new parts. In the same way, so long as a man has not realized God, he will have to come back to the potter's hand. That is, he will have to be born again and again. What is the use of sowing a boiled paddy grain? It will never bring forth a shoot. Likewise, if a man is boiled in the fire of knowledge, he will not be used for new creation. He is liberated. We shall stop here. Any questions? No questions. Form of Sri Rama, which took the form of Sri Krishna, is now Sri Ramakrishna in this at this time, but not according to Vedanta. He says, not according to Vedanta. Vedanta doesn't deal with the manifested world. It deals only with the spirit. But when you are dealing with things of the relative world, you will have to accept all these things in a relative sense. So he clarifies Vivekananda's doubting mind that he need not have any doubt about him being an incarnation. It is true, he is the incarnation of Lord Vishnu. And you must know Sri Ramakrishna's father, when he was offering worship at Vishnu temple in Gaya, in India, he got the vision of Lord Vishnu, who told him that he would be born as his son. And he said, "Oh Lord, how is it you are being born as my son? I am a very poor man, I am not be able to look after you. Don't care, don't worry about all those things. I am well satisfied with you. Don't bother about that thing." The Lord assures him. So, the story goes that way. And both Sri Ramakrishna's father, Sri Ramakrishna's mother were very devoted. Both of them were pure-hearted. Both of them had lot of visions. They would see almost every day different gods and goddesses. As if we are seeing the people, they would see the gods and goddesses every day. Even Sri Ramakrishna's mother, Chandramani Devi, she tells, she saw Lakshmi, goddess Lakshmi coming. So, it is like that.
Right.
Shankaracharya, a great Acharya. There are three Acharyas. One is Shankaracharya, who advocated Advaita philosophy, non-dualism. Ekameva dvitiyam. He established that truth. The truth is one without a second. Sarvam khalvidam brahma. Everything is verily Brahman indeed. Thou art that, you are that Brahman. You are not that pygmy, you are not that individual body mind, you are not this individual suffering being. These are all Upanishadic statements which Shankaracharya ji advocated and established. Advaita Vedanta, Atma Bodha, self-knowledge, is written by him. Many textbooks, and he has written many stotras also. Today I sang Annapurna Stotra. He passed away at the age of 32. Short life he lived, but he travelled all over India through yogic powers. Those days they didn't have any aeroplane, they didn't have even automobiles. They had to go either by cart or they had to walk. How long you will walk? India is so big. But Shankaracharya travelled all over India through his yogic powers. Met the people, discussed with them spiritual ideas, discussed Vedanta, established Vedantic religion, the religion of the Upanishads. So today is his birthday. So we have just kept him. He is a monk. He has established 4 important mutts. Monastic mutts have been established by him, 4. One is in Karnataka state from where I come. The second one is in Dwarka. Third one is Puri. The fourth one is in Himalayas. Like that 4 mutts were established by him. There is a book called Shankara Digvijaya. Originally it was in Sanskrit. It has been translated into English by our Swami. It is available in our bookstore. It deals with the life of Shankaracharya. And sometimes both the birthdays come together. Rarely it comes. There is only subtle difference. Vishishtadvaita deals with Amsha-Amshi aspect, they deal more. That is, all the beings are the part and parcel of the Supreme Being. We are all sparks of the fire. So like that they deal with the subject. But what Shankara says is, even though you are a spark, you have got the same potency as the fire. The small spark, you give some medium so that it can catch fire. It has got all the potency of the fire. So, the Vishishtadvaita, they accept the Purusha, Prakriti, Ishvara, the Creator, and the hierarchy governing the whole creation, and they explain how to approach the Supreme Truth through formal worship, upasana, whereas Shankara deals with strictly according to Jnana Marga, path of knowledge. Shankara tells only through knowledge you reach the goal. Ramanuja says through the path of devotion you can reach the Paramatman. And they visualize that Supreme Paramatman as the most charming person, giving immense joy to all the people. And one can have liberation in the sense, not that you will lose your identity and become one with the Absolute, but you can remain as a being in the proximity of the Supreme Being. So that means you retain your identity, though you have, and they also say you will acquire the divine form, because to maintain yourself independently you require a form. Otherwise, how do you exist? So you get a form, you love to be in the company of God, you be with Him, you serve Him, you love to serve Him, and you want to help Him in His mission. Whenever God incarnates Himself, you will also like to come with Him as apostle and help Him. So, like that, they try to explain. But in the what Shankara says, as long as you are not realizing your absolute identity with the Paramatman, you have not crossed completely the state of ignorance.
The state of ignorance is the realm of Maya. You will be recognized as crossing Maya only when you have established your identity with the Paramatman. That's what Shankaracharya says. These philosophies are very subtle and the subject is very vast. Ramanacharya also, a very great Acharya. He would talk with God. I have gone to the temple in India where Ramanuja would go in his younger days. The place is called Kanjivaram. It's a city of temples. They say that city has got 108 temples. Each temple is so great, the temple tower reaches the sky. So big. How they built, God only knows. Fantastic building. Stone, complete stone. There is, that Kanchi town is famous for Mother Temple. Kamakshi temple is there. There is Shankar Math also. And there is a temple called Varadaraja Swami, the Lord Vishnu temple, where Ramanujacharya would go every day taking water, pitcher of water, for making abhishekam to God. Every day he would go. Because he was so pure-hearted, he would see the visible form of God receiving his service. In fact, he took sannyas just in standing in front of God. He wore the ochre robe, renounced the world. He had a wife, he renounced everything, took sannyas. And so, according to him, there is Supreme Being, Paramatman, form. That form is eternal. There is no end for that form. It is an eternal form. It has no death. That form has no death. The Paramatma, God, Supreme God, Purushottam. There is a chapter called Purushottam Yoga in Gita. Who is that Purushottam? Lord Krishna tells. He himself is that Purushottam. Anyway, a great theology. One has to study those. It's very interesting. Whatever path you approach, you reach the goal. That's what Sri Ramakrishna says. Both are true. Form and formlessness, both are true. Brahman and his forms, they're all true. Just like water and ice blocks. Ice blocks, are they separate from water? The content is water only. But it's only ice block, that's all. As an ice block, it has got a form. If it is without form, it is only water. Just like that, God had forms, just like that. So they explain like this in different ways. In dualism, they go much. They accept everything, creation and different species. They accept everybody in his individual state. And it's very interesting subject if you want to study philosophy. Any more question? Ramanujacharya. Shankaracharya 1, Ramanujacharya 2, Madhvacharya 3. That's all. Shankaracharya stood for non-dualism, Madhvacharya qualified non-dualism, Ramanujacharya qualified non-dualism, Madhvacharya for dualism. Afterwards so many people have come, but these are the principal acharyas who have written commentaries on the Upanishads. Sanskrit commentaries are available. Each acharya has written. And each one is interpreting the Upanishad according to his own system of philosophy. Any more? Shringeri one. Sri Ramakrishna also brought like that. He brought Vivekananda. No, he went even beyond that. Jnana, Vijnana, special knowledge. Sri Ramakrishna not only accepted all these three and went further up. He had the initiation from Totapuri, who was master in non-dualism. So in 3 days he got the experience of non-dualistic state. Then afterwards he became the guru of the Totapuri, who never accepted Maya, that is, who never accepted the power, Shakti. And Sri Ramakrishna made him understand, you can't accept only one, reject the other. They are part and parcel of the same, upwards and reverse of the same coin. Purusha, Prakriti, both are real. Both are real. And you have to accept the divine power. So afterwards Totapuri had to pass through some experience to understand it. So like that. Sri Ramakrishna himself tells, I am that Parabrahman. So what? Chidanandoham. I am that blissful absolute. He himself tells, he himself reveals, he is Shiva and Kali both. He reveals that. He is Shiva as well as Kali, both. That means, that's why when we do worship here in our everyday daily puja, we use the mantra, Sarva Deva Devi Swarupaya Sri Ramakrishnaya Namaha. Sarva Deva Devi, embodiment of all gods and goddesses. Sri Ramakrishna, the embodiment of all gods and goddesses, we offer our salutations. That's the mantra. And that's the truth he arrived at. So that is why Sri Ramakrishna says, whoever may be in this universe, whoever may come, Sri Ramakrishna takes them. He rejects none, accepts everybody. That is Sri Ramakrishna. Anybody, everybody, anyone, everyone. That is Sri Ramakrishna. If you realize God with form, then you will know what Brahman also, if you want to have. All right, we shall stop. Chant the name of the Lord and His glory unceasingly, that the mirror of the heart may be wiped clean and quench that mighty forest fire, worldly lust, raging furiously within. O name, stream down in moonlight on the lotus heart, opening its cup to knowledge of thyself. O self, drowned deep in the waves of his bliss, tasting his nectar at every step, bathing in his name, that bath for weary souls. Various are thy names, O Lord, in each and every name thy power resides. No times are set, no rites are needful for chanting of thy name. So vast is thy mercy, how huge then is my wretchedness, who find in this empty life and heart no devotion to thy name. O my mind, be humbler than a blade of grass. Be patient and forbearing like a tree. Take no honor to thyself, give honor to all. Chant unceasingly the name of the Lord. O Lord and soul of the universe, mine is no prayer for wealth or retinue. The playthings of lust are the toys of fame. As many times as I may be reborn, grant me, O Lord, a steadfast love for Thee. A drowning man in this world's fearful ocean, he is Thy servant, O sweet one. In Thy mercy consider him as dust beneath Thy feet. Ah, how I long for the day when an instant's separation from Thee, O Lord, will be as 1,000 years, when my heart burns away with its desire, and the world without Thee is a heartless void. Prostrate at Thy feet let me be, in unwavering devotion, neither imploring the embrace of Thine arms, nor bewailing the withdrawal of Thy presence, though it tears my soul asunder. O Thou who stealest the hearts of Thy devotees, do with me what Thou wilt, for Thou art my heart's beloved, Thou and Thou alone. O Lord, lead us from the unreal to the real. Lead us from darkness to light, and lead us from death to immortality. May all be free from dangers. May all realize what is good. May all be actuated by noble thoughts. May all rejoice everywhere. May all be happy. May all be free from disease. May all realize what is good. May none be subject to misery. May the wicked become virtuous. May the virtuous attain tranquility. May the tranquil be free from bonds. May the freed make others free. May good betide all people. May the sovereign righteously rule the earth. May all beings ever attain what is good. May the worlds be prosperous and happy. May the clouds pour rain in time. May the earth be blessed with crops. May all countries be freed from calamity. May holy men live without fear. May the Lord, the destroyer of sins, the presiding deity of all sacred works, be satisfied. For he being pleased, the whole universe becomes pleased. He being satisfied, the whole universe feels satisfied.